Good morning, replayers. Good morning, good morning. Euro finally in play. Jobless report coming out. Good morning, good morning. Not too many opportunities the last couple days. Good morning, good morning. So not too many opportunities these last few days, guys. Good morning. We're looking at jobless report just came out. Very muted response. Good morning, good morning. Good morning. Welcome to the room, guys. Euro being flat after a jobless report. Sean, what's up? Everybody go check out Sean Thomas. Good morning, buddy. Everybody go check out Sean Thomas. If you are not following Sean Thomas, you need to follow him. Excellent scopes. Excellent business scopes. So guys, what we're looking at here is the 1 hour chart on the Euro USD cross. Jobless claims came out this morning, CPI, and price movement is muted. Muted. For the past couple of days, we haven't had much price movement outside of a 40 pip range. Last night's trades, yeah, pretty much one decent trade. You know, we could have had two decent trades, but after that trade did not come out to expectations, I basically shut the system off because there's not enough price movement. For whatever reason, obviously, a lot of people are wondering what's going on. Good morning, Alran. How are you? And, you know, when you get into these situations here where the price movement, you can see the SIG level right there at 1260, right? Rather, 1262 is the SIG level. So we've got this SIG level at 1262. We've got price movement for all of the day around this SIG level, just hovering there. Price movement yesterday, you know, the only good play yesterday we caught right on the scope. The only good play yesterday we caught on the scope, it was that, you know, that nice 30 or so pip move. And price movement has been choppy. And this is what we call, you know, crappy trading conditions. You don't want to trade when price movement is sideways like this. There's no trending. And I was really hoping that the jobless claims would pop something up, would get us out of this range. And they didn't. And they usually do. So we got to ask ourselves, what is going on? What's being hidden here? Where is the hidden risk? That's what I ask myself when reports that are supposed to move markets don't move markets. Now, Prime is currently long, but I want to see us break out of this range. I honestly want to see us break out of this range. So last night's trades, we had a few trades that went back and forth. We cut a good 20 pip range around about 320. We got this short. We were out at 39 right here. And this candle, I anticipated to have more range. When it did not have more range, I shut the system down. I said, something's up. Something's up. So my question is what's up? That's my question. What's up? Because the markets are pricing in risk right now. Big risk. Big risk. Otherwise, people would be playing the market, man. The markets would be trending and flowing and cycling, and they're moving sideways when they shouldn't be. So what do we do now? Well, besides be confused, along with the rest of the market, I usually hit the front page of Bloomberg. Hit the front page of Bloomberg. Now we see Fed's Lockhart speaks about economy and policy. Okay, that's good. So someone in the Fed's going to be speaking. When is this going to happen? You know, when the markets... Let me explain something to you guys. It is not good when the markets don't move. Until someone in the Fed speaks. It's not good when markets don't move until someone in the Fed speaks. Because eventually someone in the Fed is going to have to tell the truth. That, you know, this whole thing is not good. Ugh. How are you? Good morning. Where is your smile? Hola. Hola. Is everybody asleep? I don't see hearts. I don't see questions. De nuevo. Yeah. Yeah. There we go. Man, you guys aren't all asleep. Okay, alright. I'll get fired up now because I know that not everybody's asleep. You know what? We got a new song. Yeah, signals were quiet because there was nothing going on. You know, the only opportunity happened around 322. We got a decent 20 pip play out of that, but I mean, the ranges have been like 10 pips, 15 pips, 5 pips. I mean, you can't profit if there's a 5 pip range. Oh, cool, Aron. You're gonna make a song. That's cool. So yeah, like when when there are no opportunities to be had, which unfortunately does happen at various points in the markets. Cool. Then of course the algorithm sees that there's nothing to take advantage of. You know, we need volatility to capture the volatility. Federico, what's up? Right now, everybody's like, what is going on? Good morning. I mean, when the jobless claims come out, markets usually move. Right, I mean, look, if you tried to force trades, there's no movement. I mean, we're talking about candles that have a 10 pip range here. So, all right, now some movement. Thank you. See, prime is long right now. If we get a candlestick, I'll just be happy that we get out of the range. Yeah, there was one good play. Alright, so you guys see the magic in action here. So the reason why the members did not get any type of alerts is because right now we are technically de-risking. The system is not sending out the alerts. I didn't want you guys to take positions when there's no movement. But I'm enjoying the fact that prime was long prior to this. And we still, you see that? Prime was long and we still got this candle. So maybe the de-risking was a little bit overzealous in terms of being risk averse with you guys. But if it still catches the move, I'm happy, because that tells me that we got something here. We got something here. We got a little something here. All right. So that's okay. I'm okay with the fact. Look at this. All right. 30. We missed a 30 pip play, but I'm not upset about it because of the fact that prime called it 3 hours beforehand. I'm fine with that. But in terms of controlling risk, I wasn't about to have, anybody on the team take money, take a loss. I want everybody on this team taking money. You know what I mean? Alright, so this is good. What does this mean? Well, the first thing it means is, holy crap. It took 12 minutes to react to this news. What that means... What's live on Bloomberg? Is someone on the Fed speaking right now? I hate when Bloomberg has a news article and you click on it and it's a video. No problem, I'll run. All I want is a text article. I don't want the sound.
What does an up-and-coming musician...
Anyways, of course it's commercial right now. But if someone did speak... Morning, Eddie. Eddie, I wanted everybody out of the market. There was no move right before the jobless claims. Prime still did call the correct direction. So essentially we have a few FOMC announcements as well as jobless claims, CPI, PPI under the belt. And now guys, what I want you to notice is the markets that moved did not move because of jobless claims. They moved because Dennis Lockhart is speaking on Bloomberg right now. Ain't that some shit? Come on now. The markets completely ignore the report, and they're just listening to this bozo speak. He's saying patient approach makes sense. A patient approach makes sense. Tell me something I don't know, man. No, this candle means everything. This candle means that this entire market, including all of the currency markets around the world, are just resting upon the phrases and words of a few people in the world. People think that presidents have power. The presidents have no power at all compared to the Fed, compared to the central banks around the world. And that's what you're seeing. The fact that there's no movement. There's no movement at all until they come onto the screen and say something. Oh, guys, it's going to be okay. Business as usual. And then, boom, we get a pop. Jobless claim report, nothing. Nothing. That's why there was no reaction to the jobless claim report, because everybody knew this guy was going to speak. And that's why there was no movement last night. You see what I'm saying? Do you see what I'm saying? And so when there's no movement to be had, you have to say to yourself, you don't even have to know what the news is. You know something's up. Because that means everybody else is de-risking for a reason. And nobody knows what that reason is. You don't even have to know what it is. You know it's a reason. Oh, yeah. Fundamentals have been long gone in the currency markets. The moves are too quick. And I'm watching this guy speak, all right? And I'm not listening to the words he's saying. I'm just recording what a bullshit artist looks like. That's all I'm doing. I'm not listening to the words. I'm just ingraining the facial expressions and his body language into my mind. Because what he's saying right now is not true. It's not true, baby. It ain't true. So just make sure you know what those facial expressions look like, because the next time it rolls around, you gotta remember it. Anybody with a he looks very serious this morning. He looks very, very serious. Come on. You guys can go on Bloomberg right now if you know what I'm talking about. Go on Bloomberg video and look at Dennis Lockhart. So he's one of the Fed presidents. He's the Atlanta Fed president, which for some reason is one of the bigger Feds. They're supposed to all be kind of even, but so he says global economy is weak and may be getting weaker. Do you see how when anybody in politics speaks, and it doesn't matter who you're in favor of. It doesn't matter who you're in favor of. It just doesn't. They have very open-ended answers. The economy may be weak. Is it a true statement? Of course, it's 100% true. The economy may be weak. But the economy may be strong as well. You didn't tell me anything that's worth putting you on the pedestal of speaking. I love it. Guys, this is Monday morning economics comedy here. All right? This is the shit you're not going to get from Harvard. I promise you. I promise you. Nobody's going to sit here and make fun of people like this. Trust me. Um, the economy may be weak. That is a true statement. The economy may also be strong. That is also a true statement. It's an open-ended answer. It didn't lead to anything. There's nothing to come from that answer. There's no, See, and now the quote is, he doesn't think the U.S. economy is highly vulnerable. So you don't think it's vulnerable, but you do think it may be getting weaker. Yes, Sport. That's absolutely true. You don't think the economy is bad, but it may be getting worse. But I don't think it's bad. I don't think it's quite bad, but it may be getting worse. If I had to tell you right now, at this point in time, I would have to tell you that it's not bad, but it may be getting worse. But we're going to take a very, very slow stance at raising interest rates. Oh yeah, I imagine. Guys, the currency markets, gold and silver right now have got to be moving. Gold and silver right now have got to be moving. Oh, futures, yeah. This kind of stuff, guys, is unbelievable. Unbelievable. And you gotta realize, guys, before the 2008 financial crisis, nobody gave a shit what these people said. The markets kind of did their own thing. And, every once in a while we'd have one of the Fed, guys come on. Yeah, right? We'd have one of the Fed guys come on. And, markets would react to it because interest rates are a big deal. And, of course, the bond markets would move every single time. But there wasn't anticipation like there is now. I mean, if he just said, like, one phrase. If he just said, "We're sorry, we made a mistake," the entire world economy would collapse. You guys realize that? I mean, they're putting so much emphasis on what the central banks are saying, not what they're doing, because we know what they're doing, right? We know they're going to continue printing. That's the only way it can go, guys. That is the only way it can go. Central banks must continue printing. And so, right now we are in the stage of the cycle called wage deflation. Wage deflation. You could work 3 jobs and not have as much margin as Grandpappy, who worked 1 job and worked his ass off. Keep in mind what you've seen in the last 50 years, okay? You've seen most households go from, making enough money with 1 person working, the head of the household working, to now 2 individuals in the family must work to make ends meet for the average family. And you have to ask yourself why. I know this is an economic rant, but the fact of the matter is that when you see stuff in the market, how can you not rant? A lot of you new guys don't really have a lot of exposure to economics. but this should prove to you how important it is. Just basic economics. Inflation expectations around the 2% target mark. Here's a direct quote. Listen to this quote. Inflation expectations reasonably well anchored. Reasonably well anchored? I love it. Hey, whoever's writing this stuff, call me, please. I want to give you a job. Although, I don't know if I'd be able to pay you as much as working for the Fed, that's for sure. My inflation expectations are reasonably well anchored. Man, oh man. All right. Yeah, for it. Don't take the move. Don't take the move when it's in the middle of the move. Especially on news. That's why that's why you guys got no alerts, because I don't like when we have this sideways movement. Like I said, there's something brewing when you see that on a chart. You see 10 hours of no movement. You gotta say to yourself, something's up. 10 hours of no movement means a lot of people are sitting on the sideline. I'm just glad that this guy is finally speaking so the markets can get back to moving normally. You know, in nearly every single case, Prime has called the correct direction before the news has come out, which I'm happy about. However, anything with news exposes us to risk. And so I just want as little risk as possible and as much reward as possible. Saying Prime is my algorithm. It's an artificial intelligence algorithm that chooses entries and exits in the currency markets. Yeah. So he's done, so maybe we get some natural movement in the markets now. Yeah, it could be. I'm just glad to have that over because, man, why place so much confidence in people who don't know more than you? Because let's look at this logically, okay? Yes, these guys, the heads of the Fed, they're educated, all right? They probably have master's degrees in economics, every single one of them. They're very, very well tuned to interest rates. All right? What the so-called financial econometrics, which are all the interest rate based types of applications, equations. But when it comes to the end of the day, they can't forecast anything with the economy. That's just the truth. I mean, every single report that comes out, they have revisions. You guys know that, right? Every single report that comes out, they have to revise something, which means that they didn't get it right. Maybe I should lease Prime to them. Maybe I should lease Prime to the Federal Reserve. That should be a good cash flow You want to talk about a cash cow? That would be decent. So, I want you guys to see this price action, all right? Why? Yes, they would. Because even if you could forecast the correct direction, and guys, all you guys listen up. This is why when people come into the room and they ask me about binary options, okay? Being a good trader is more about forecasting the direction of a price. Okay, when you forecast the direction of a price, that's only 50% of the equation to profiting. The other half of the equation is you have to do it within a certain period of time. You have to be right about the timing. Alright? Now, the thing with binary options is it's one thing for me to say, hey guys, prime is long this candle here is very likely to be long. Okay? That means the probability of this candle getting higher is much greater than the probability of this candle getting lower. Alright? That is the true statement. That is the fact. However, if I were to say, guys, this candle is going to head north, but it's going to happen in the next 30 seconds. You see how I've placed more constriction on my forecast. I've now assigned a time that it must be done in, or I'm wrong. Right? So when you add time into the equation, you lessen your chances of actually being correct. Because I could still be correct about the direction, but if I'm not correct about the time as well, and I have to be right about the timing in that case. I have to be right about the timing in that case. With binary options, you have to be right about the timing. You've essentially made it harder for you to profit because now you have to be right on two different variables and not just one variable. So, what do we do now? Well, I just want markets to resume some normal trading here. The play right here is technically, it looks like normal price movement is starting to regain momentum. So as a trader, that's what you want to see because, guys, welcome to the room. All you new guys, all the new blood in the room. Fit Business Man. Nope, one word. Fit businessman. Just one word. When we make a system that is attempting, Jose, thanks for the invite, that is attempting to make use of the volatility that is in the markets, what we want to see is normal price reactions. We want to see basically what is dubbed the random walk type price movement. Wow, that must have been boring. Sorry for that. Because what happens is if we make a system that is going to take into consideration price movement, and then all of a sudden the price movement becomes erratic, and we have a period of condensed pricing, all right? We have, sideways price movement. What happens is that most systems become extra sensitive during those times, and you can get stopped out left and right. Exactly. Junga, I like that. That's what we're doing. We're breaking systems here. Breaking systems. Alright. Breaking systems. I like that. Prime trying to hit off a little short. But, I don't like when price just hovers around a sig level like this. I told you guys that price is supposed to be moving between the sig levels. right? Daily chart is still short, guys. Eight-hour chart is short now. So what do we have? 1276 represents a new SIG level. That would require the use of likely leasing satellites, and we're just not on that level yet. But as soon as we're able to lease the satellites, I'll let you know. Prime just went short, but I don't like playing the times around the news. You guys know that. See, Prime just switched long. Do I take money for this? I take money from this, baby. What you're looking at is the Forex markets, the Euro USD cross. But do I charge for the Periscope? No. Do I charge for the service that I offer? Absolutely. Well, I don't know. See, it's invitation only. And I really don't like the way that you came in this room. So only certain people get invites. That's part of the reason why it's invitation only. I don't know. If you get me enough cups of coffee, you might get on my good side. You might get in. You might get in. See, people that have wavelengths like you, and that waste your time coming in a room trying to troll, you should be reading a book right now. You should be reading a book on financial econometrics. You should be reading a book on computational investing. You should be reading a book instead of coming into a room and trolling. Why waste your time like that, bro? I can tell you hate books. You don't have to tell me. I can tell that. That was very apparent as soon as you came in the room. Tolerated that bozo long enough. Boy. So you see how this new SIG level has formed. New SIG level at 1276 is formed. I like trolling back at the trolls, man. The troll troller. That'd be a good headline for a scope, right? I wanted him to keep talking because it was just so interesting. I've never met someone that delirious up to this point, but it was pretty interesting. Exactly. You just blocked them. So you see this weakness reigning true, guys. Not bad. Yeah, easy to just tune it out. Yeah. But I'm pretty sure, like, I like to let people know that before I block them. It's kind of like a train honking the horn before they get smashed. Now, I'm going to start dubbing this the reverse play, which is like literally after every single Fed person talks, the price just gravitates back. It's like they kick a soccer ball and now it's just returning to the field. Amazing, amazing. And now, even with him speaking, this price movement was not anything spectacular. I mean, we had a 30 pip. We could have taken 30. 35 pips out of that, and how much risk associated with it for 35 pip gain? Yeah, basically a boomerang play. Punting it and then it returns. Then the read books. Now, someone like that will probably never read a book. Someone like that will probably never read a book. There was just an earthquake in Japan, guys. So if you have any relatives in Japan, I hope they're safe. Welcome to the room. Welcome to the room. Good morning, everybody. It is 9:12 a.m. Eastern Time. You are watching the greatest game on earth. And you are listening to the Kobe Bryant of the greatest game on earth. There's my hat tip to Kobe. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's one thing to play the Fed. It's a whole nother thing to play natural disasters. So all those in Jappy, in some way, shape, or form, watch your back. Watch your back. Jello. I just want to see some natural price movement here. You know, it's like it's like the marker of risk is becoming Yeah, Asia's had a lot of issues with natural disaster. It seems like the marker of risk is how often the Fed gets on a TV. Like when risk starts picking up, it's like they're tipping their cards. They just come onto the TV more and try to comfort people. But that's tipping the cards. That's like you're exposing all the people in the know to your poker play. I mean, if things, let's face it, right? If there was no risk in the market, they wouldn't even be on the TV. They'd be just like, whatever. Yeah, huge weapon with no ammo. The Fed has a dual mandate, guys. Alright? The Fed has a dual mandate, and that dual mandate is, number one, to keep inflation expectations at a bearable level, whatever. Number two, to keep the jobs at a certain level. So they're attempting to control two things. They want to keep jobs. They've got to show that the nation is employed at a certain level, even if that means correcting a few typos on the documents they send out. Yeah, if you know, if ever there has to be that type of announcement, that's when you know stuff isn't good. I get nervous when people have to tell the markets that it's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. So, what do we have here? Do we have a play for the rest of the day? We very well could, although the SIG level, of course, is going to have a lot of price changing. A lot of price changing. We'll tell you this, though. Luxury goods. Bloomberg just showed the intraday charts for luxury goods. A lot of luxury goods are starting to lose their ground. Yeah. Yeah, as happened in the early 1900s. No, Jose. We don't fuck with luck. Luck is for people who don't know what's going on. Yeah, luck is for people who don't make their own destiny. So we don't do that. What we do is systematic. What we do is analytical. What we do is avoid risk. And you know what? Sometimes that means that we don't make money on a play. But I realize that most of you guys are newbies. And so to set an example for you guys, you need to see it occur. Alright, prime firing off long. I mean, the price movement looks okay, believe it or not. But it's still, I don't like playing the news, especially like the next one or two candles. Richard Fisher broke. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. I'd imagine that no one would like what he said. Yeah, well, especially since Wednesday afternoon. Since Wednesday afternoon, I mean, there's been very little in terms of volatility to be captured. There's no trending. and you know, remember I told you guys, for you guys that have been with me from the very start, okay? One of my very first scopes, I talked about the dual nature of markets. The dual nature of markets. In fact, I'm going to do an entire video on this. So basically the markets have a dual nature. They either trend or cycle. Not yet, Eddie. I'm rendering the second video as soon as I get off the scope with you guys. And I'm gonna post them late tonight. Well, not late, but hopefully I'll post them before my workout. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I wanna get a couple videos up at a time. So it'll be about an hour of content in total between the two videos, and that they'll be uploaded hopefully this afternoon. You know, this candle, I'm not even interested in. Ash, what's up? Not really interested in playing this candle, no matter where it goes. Yeah, for the unfortunate thing is they don't have any other choice. Yeah, Ash, what's up? Well, we've been out of the market. I wanted to see what went on with the jobless claims. Jobless claims didn't move the market. I was like, what the heck? So, front page of Bloomberg said that one of the Fed presidents was speaking. Thanks, Singh. Take care, buddy. And sure enough, that was the reason why the markets were on edge. Now you got to realize, guys, the craziest part about all of this is Yellen just spoke last week. I mean, are we at the point economically where we need one of these people to come on the friggin' TV every single week and tell us that shit's okay? I mean, come on. If your forecast is changing, you know, you gotta understand that these guys, they're making forecasts for like the entire year. Bronx, what up? And yet it's changing from week to week? Come on. That lets you guys know what the risk of this environment is. If they're going to change their forecast week to week, or people are going to suspect that they change the forecast week to week, you're not supposed to change an entire economic forecast from one week to the other. You got to understand that the Fed, they have unlimited pockets, guys. Literally, unlimited pockets. They can print as much as they want. Do not tell me that... Oh, okay, that's recording. Why would they need to come on every week? They've already got some of the best economists working for them. You mean to tell me that none of these guys at any Fed has the ability to forecast what's going on? You got a bunch of PhD economists, and they still have to change their forecast every week. Right. And it's a card tip. They're showing us their hand. What they're essentially saying is volatility is going to remain high. You must be a short-term player in the markets. You cannot be a long-term player because these are supposed to be the brightest financial people in the world, and they're changing their views from week to week. Do you think that... Does it make sense to any degree that someone would be able to profit with a long-term plan when these people are changing their forecast week to week? Essentially what they're saying is fundamental investing is dead. Completely dead. If you are a fundamental investor and you're making decisions based on anything but cash flow, your decisions are dead. Cash flow will always be great. There's no doubt about it. But if you're trying to forecast the balance sheet of companies out 1 year, and the Fed can't even forecast from month to month. That lets you know what your chances of success will be. What do you mean by that, Jose? What we're talking about, guys, is economics. This is the stuff that makes the world go round. This is what's making the money move, okay? The euro dollar in June. I don't know. No, they're not going to make money specifically off the volatility. They still have to be able to control the timing of it, and it's hard to do that. Yeah. Brexit vote. I told you guys about the Brexit vote. So basically, if Great Britain, as a country, votes that they want out of the EU, you can bet that's going to put some volatility in the market. Guys, we are in an interesting world right now. Let me tell you. When you have countries that want to leave relationships because it's not working out well, you've got countries wanting to leave the relationship because it's not working out well. Yes, sir, killing pips. Yeah. I mean, the only thing we can do is control risk and be ready to put money to work when it's ready. There's really no other way to profit from this. And you know, the thing is that investing for most people is very important right now because we have wage deflation, right? 23rd of June. So I told you guys about Brexit, like, what was it, 3 days ago? So 3 days ago I told you guys about Brexit. But you're going to see it being mentioned more and more and more as we get closer to that time. So we're getting some negative price movement. And guys, here's the thing. You know, we may just get a little chat room going. I may have to do that in addition to the alert system. I'm going to take a poll with you guys. Oh yeah, Jose, there's likely to be volatility either way. So guys, remember, the daily is short. The daily is short. Daily is short. Four hours short, 8 hours short. U.S. equity markets just opened.
I'm not so much afraid of me having bad breath. I'm afraid of other people having bad breath. As in, hey buddy, your breath smells like crap. Maybe you should develop a case of halitophobia. Now I know what you're asking. How do you know if you have bad breath? You use this. You use a spoon. Now I know what you're thinking. A spoon. You eat with a spoon. You play with spoons. Your spoon is working. You take a spoon and tell it you never hang up and you take the spoon and you stick it at the back of your tongue and gently squirt. Let it dry. You take it. If it stinks, your breath stinks.
I'm watching a funny commercial. If they leave, everyone will sell, and it may not be that clear cut.
And mouthwash? This is like trying to clean your carpet with a hose. You're just watering down the problem. And then there's the option that actually works. This, the Aura Brush. The soft bristles feel great on your tongue. You just go back and forth a few times, and go all the way back, pull it forward.
Beautiful display of chaos.
Use it in the morning, eliminate morning breath, and then use it at night, right before bed. You know what I'm talking about, huh? So do you and me, the rest of man, try the favorite hero, and want to sleep wondering if somebody's got a fix or a spur on his face? Get him one too. Put him in his Christmas stocking. Thank you for it later.
Yeah, you know, what happens is at any given moment, there's a lot of businesses that are holding currencies, right? So you guys got to understand that this situation presents a snafu for a lot of very large companies, okay? You know how many companies have, workers that are in the European Union and they have their base elsewhere? And now, how are they going to pay those workers if they have to price in this tremendous swing in the euro? Yeah, it's likely to make the dollar stronger because the dollar is the reserve currency for the whole world. And so the de-risking on their part is going to be going into USD. So what is that? That, of course, is your negative. That, of course, is anything negative. Yeah, it's like, it's like a bad relationship in any other case. When things aren't going right, they want out until they realize that the issue is not getting out. That's not the problem. Yeah, the uncertainty. It makes for a nice soap opera. It makes for a nice soap opera, that's for sure. But it'll be all over Bloomberg for the next, in the next month, it's going to be all they talk about. I will tell you guys this. I have a friend that works for a very large bulge bracket bank, okay? And he shared the economic forecast with me for their entire team. I actually have the pictures on my phone. And they've identified like over 12 possible volatility plays coming due for the next year. 12. That are going to affect everything from currencies to commodities to interest rates, so on and so forth. Aiden, what's up? Absolutely. That's what it is. It's war. So you guys see, now we're back to this sideways movement. It was nice to see the... Dave, what's up? It was nice to see price attempt to break out. Let me get back to the 1 hour chart. So here we are at an infamous 1 hour chart. Yeah, you never know because the summers tend to be so blah in terms of volatility. I would like to see what's going to happen though. Now you guys see the sig level at play. Do you see this? We are flat. Almirio, hello. We are flat. I want to stay flat for the next candle, until the next candle at least. And guys, the purpose of de-risking is basically, if we know that we have a system that works, right? We know that when volatility is normal, the system works. We want to remove all of the instances where that isn't the case. Yeah, Brexit's definitely going to throw a curve in it. Especially since not many people made the big bonuses for this summer. Going into the summer, that is. So, we see the sig level at play. USD Jappy, well, Japan just had an earthquake. By the way, guys, if you're in a currency pair and there's a natural disaster, whether the price goes against you or for you, okay, the best play is probably going to be to get out. You guys understand that? Those are instances where the algorithm has taken directional bet. Well, this is a slow process. Some days, hey guys, listen, some days you got volatility galore, and some days it's going to be slow. And you got to know how to ride the waves no matter what kind of day it is. Some days you got the hurricane waves, and some days you got the cool waters. You know? Some days you've got some nice movement, and others you don't. And in either case, you got to be ready to roll, baby. Rocket, what up? Sorry, Elmario, I do not speak Russian. Alright, guys, well, ain't much happening here. Alexander Gersh. No, I don't. Sorry. Drop some knowledge on me, baby. Who is he? Who is he? What does he do? Is he on Wikipedia? Should I be looking on Wikipedia? So what are we looking at? Well, right now you're looking at me, but we were looking at the Euro USD cross 1 hour chart, of which there's not much movement going on. You know, I have to wonder to myself if all the plays today are going to be muted because everybody was just kind of relying on that play, you know, relying on something negative or, thanks bro, something negative or positive coming about. But I don't know. I don't know what to say, you know. But we did play the risk well, I think. You know, in that case, the best defense is a good offense, right? I always love that type of quote. The best offense or the best defense is a good offense. Hey Bob. Maximum in one play. It's in the 5-figure range. A decent 5-figure range. And, you know, our offense in this case is just being proactive and removing the risk as quickly as possible. At 11:30:12. Like Tony Stark. Only I can't get the hair to grow in like Tony though. I like Robert. He's cool, man. Except it literally got out before I fell. There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, there was very muted plays last night. We got taken back and forth for a lot of like little stops, which usually happens when there's sideways price movement. There was really nothing to jump on. We did catch a good 20 pip play, and of course we missed this play in terms of trying to de-risk before the market. Expectations were exposed, but market, of course, just expecting more and more dovish news out of the Fed. Why Forex, Apple, or Google? Good question. Why Forex? Forex can be leveraged a lot more. The Forex markets are open a lot more. The Forex markets have a lot more liquidity. Forex? Welcome to the room where we discuss Forex and all things Forex related and making money and killing pips and things of that nature. Ticks and humans. Welcome to the room where we discuss Forex. Now, guys, I'm trying to size up a play here for the rest of the day, because obviously I don't want to see us go today without having any plays. And I don't like the price movement, to be honest. And as a trader, you sometimes look at certain things and you just know that you don't want to play them. All right. Jappy took a hit. Books on Forex. You can go to babypips.com if you want to learn some very basics. In terms of books on Forex, most of the good books on Forex are going to be currency-related books that specialize in intermarket analysis for currency markets. That's the more advanced stuff, and then if you want to get really advanced, you're going to go into the quantitative mechanics of the markets, which is not solely dependent on Forex markets. I can't write names. The broadcasters don't have the ability to write. That's how you know you're talking to a Periscope newbie. And they're like, man, just write it down. Just write it down, man. Broadcasters cannot write on Periscope. But I could write it on a piece of paper. But to be honest, that would be a waste of time right now because I want to play the markets. If that makes sense. If that makes sense. So the good news is, guys, if we can stay above that SIG level for the next candle, that's actually fairly positive for a nice short-term long. I can write behind me, right? What a day, what a day. What a day, what a day. Alright guys, this morning, nothing crazy eventful. Going forward, I'd like you to know New Zealand dollar is having some good plays to the upside, by the way. How much money spreading commission for order? We don't go by points in the Forex market. It's pips, and I hope you're not doing 20 pip spreads in the Forex market. Yeah, you never force a trade. Obviously, Mason knows that. That's why he's out. That's a good play. When you feel like you want to force a trade, just don't. Just don't. Because it usually means that you're not playing your system. Makes sense? Yeah. It means that you're getting emotional. Means that you're getting emotional. And when you're emotional, you never make good decisions. That's truth. That's truth. I'm running through a couple different charts. I didn't. Let's see. Checking it out now. So we're flat on the day in the Euro USD so far. Thus far. Aussie's making a lot of moves up north, guys. Aussie just had a lot of pops. Yeah, it's playing. I'm waiting for this commercial. I'm waiting for this Lipton tea commercial. But first, a word from our sponsors. Alright, so it's playing right now. The video is fairly outrageous. I like it. The odd. Odd's got good moves, man. Yo! Happy Ben, what's up? Yeah, guys, Odd USD Prime is short right now. I don't know if I want to play that. I wanted to focus on the Euro. That's funny. I won't be shaking my booty like that, though. You gotta love the video. Oh, I'm looking at this Diplo video. That's why. It's hilarious. Muscle good? Thank you. Thank you. Muscle is good. Muscle is good. Up to a point. Up to a point. This is what I usually tell people. Put on as much lean muscle as possible, as long as you can fit into a suit. Once you can't fit into a nice suit, you gotta stop. Shit ain't right. Just saying. Just saying. Fort, did you see the video for this? The official video for this song? This is actually the first Diplo song that I've seen for a video. Hell yeah. Show your muscle. We're here to talk about trading. However, I do have a paid cam show if that's something you're interested in. I mean, I don't know. I can give you the link to the paid show. It's not all like that. I hope not. Data freak. Data freak. That sounded like too much. Alright guys, so Euro USD's looking like we've got some positive movement. Getting a little breakout to the upside, which is good. I'm not going to take it. I have to shake my head. Fort, you trade to this, man? I can't trade to this, homie. Although you're right, when I am in a winning position, I might actually have to bump that. All right, guys. So there's not much movement in the markets. I'm gonna hop offline. I want to get these videos done for you guys on the back end. You know, there's one in particular I'm gonna get done, and I've got like 6 videos on deck that I'm gonna be making over the weekend. And to be honest, kind of looking forward to the weekend. Last night was the only night that I actually took any amount of sleep for the past 3 days. So let me tell you, I'm sleep deprived, and I need to get some sleep as soon as possible. I will be monitoring this position. Obviously, after this candle, I'm going to turn Prime on, and we'll see how it goes, alright? Well, that's 1 minute, so maybe not the very next candle, maybe the one after. Hopefully we get some movement. Kind of pissed that basically everybody that was supposed to put movement into the market, you know, when we had all 3 exchanges open, there wasn't enough movement to profit off of. See, I just don't like the price movement when there's so much hovering around that SIG level. It's so hard to take advantage of. And I don't want you guys to get text messages like every 2 minutes to switch positions. Oh well. All right, guys, let's take a coffee break. If you're in the market, take a coffee break. step away from your computer, do something else, and we'll see if normal price action resumes in the next hour or 2 hours, okay? That's the play, guys. That's the play. So, I will be online later on today, probably before I go for my workout. Just for a quick update, and expect some, if there's moves, expect some alerts to go out, alright? If I see anything positive, expect some alerts to go out. As of now, though, I gotta say that, you know, as I'm scanning things, I'm scanning through other charts. You know, the long-term play may be to go long if we want to profit for the day. Yeah, Dave, give it a shot now and see how it goes. I had to update. I had to update some things on the payment processor, which is the actual person, not person, it's the entity that runs the payments. Basically, they have a way that you can adjust the sensitivity of the fraud detection. But what they don't tell you is that, like, when a bank issues a credit card, some banks do not participate in the way that the payment processors actually collect the information to rule out fraud. Especially international banks and some domestic banks, some U.S. domestic banks, but mostly it's the international banks that don't necessarily comply with the alert system or the communication system that a lot of the U.S. banks have in terms of fraud detection. So in that case, there's a discrepancy between, you know, banks, whether they're international or domestic, and how they actually report stuff. Everybody should get on the same friggin' same line. Cool. Yeah, I adjusted. I had to do a lot of research for that. Because believe it or not, the payment processors themselves weren't too much help. There's a lot of different aspects of running a business, let me tell you. Not only do I have to know how to trade, now I have to know how payment processors work. I want to just focus on one thing, but that's not the way business is. It's not the way business is. Ventoro, how are you? All right, guys. Yeah, you'll be added to the database within about an hour. You're not going to get past alerts because obviously those are no longer in play. But yeah, going forward, you'll be added to the database. Let me see if I've got the notification yet. Yeah, I just got the notification. Cool stuff. Welcome aboard, Dave. Yeah, you know, Beaver fan. Yeah, Beaver fan. I guess so. Meow. I got my cat here. He's throwing in his 2 cents. It's natural where he kills pips in order to survive. I like that. I like that. Okay, cool. Scott. I'll call you Scott. I like to get to know everybody on, a first name basis. Do you trade? I do trade futures, but I haven't been really mixing it up with futures lately. I just like the Forex markets a lot more. I like the fact that the liquidity is just always there, in addition to other things. On this episode of Man vs. Wow. But yeah, for you guys that are on the scope, I'm assuming that most of you guys that are on the scope right now are members, but if you haven't yet signed up, if there was a reason like there was some issues with the payment or whatever, that should all be fixed now. I apologize for the frustration. I know how frustrating it is to fill out a form and then, to not actually get through. Yeah, just make sure, as of now, there should only be 2 reasons, or a few reasons why you get declined. But one of them is there's, if there's insufficient funds on a debit card, that will automatically come back declined. There's nothing I can do about that. The declines are done they're done between the payment processor and your issuing bank for your card. So the website or any website has nothing to do with approving you or declining you. It's completely out of the website's hands. The only thing that we can do is change the amount of information that is supplied to the payment processor to make sure that the actual process of approving the transaction, when it does get approved between the banks, if we give them more information or less information, that's the only thing that we can control, and that's done through the form, obviously. But we don't have any control over who gets approved or declined. So no site does, just to let you guys know. So, but I know how frustrating it is to go through, that process of typing in all your information and then to not get approved. So that should be fixed now. Assuming that you have the funds and your card is active and you did not move your home address in the last couple of weeks without notifying your credit card company or nothing weird like that, it should go through. Because if you do move, as a matter of fact, guys, that's another thing. If you do move and you do not notify your credit card company that you moved, they'll probably start declining transactions, just so you guys know in the future if you do move. All right. All right, guys. I'm gonna brew some coffee. Like I said, step away from the computer. When there's no movement happening, if you're not staring at a play or a setup, and you're saying to yourself, this is going to be a good setup, or the algorithm's working great, there's lots of price action, we've got lots of cycles in the price, or a definitive trend in the price, then just walk away from your computer. Of course, without being in a trade, never walk away from your computer when you're in a trade. But no problem, Ariel. Glad you made money. Excellent. But yeah, if you're in a trade, don't walk away from your computer under any circumstances. You guys know, and I'm gonna go over a video. All right, I'm gonna go over a video that is basically fail safes and de-risking for the trades, because obviously there are things that can happen in the course of a trade. Your electricity can go out, stuff like that. So I'm going to go over all the different fail safes that you guys are going to want to have. A lot of them are just inexpensive and just kind of thinking ahead, common sense. But if you're new to any type of trading, you still need to know this stuff. As of now, there are none posted. There's going to be 2 up by the end of today, all right? Hopefully before I go for my workout. So they just need to be posted, all right? This weekend, I'm going to probably knock out another 2 videos. I'll have a lot of alone time because basically I've told all of my friends not to call me because I've got too much going on right now. Good question. Good question. The first video is going to be about a lot of the basics involved with trading. Same thing with the second video. A lot of them are going to teach you basics, but not from a perspective that you would be able to see on baby pips. Alright? And then the next few videos are going to get into some more exotic stuff. You know, like determining your schedule for trading, so on and so forth. So it's stuff that you wouldn't necessarily find on baby pips, but it's stuff that you need to know to be a winning trader, because if you don't organize your life around this, it's going to be hard to make money from it. However, you have to have, some people still have obligations in their life, and you know, they can't, you know, stay up all night, or they can't be on during a certain hour, and so how do you accommodate that? You know, one of the videos that I have is going to go through those types of things. So it's going to be good. It's going to be really good. Definitely information that you're not going to get somewhere else, at least without hours and hours of searching. So the goal is, like, there's no information that is just completely new, but the organization of the information and how it's presented is where I'm going to excel at with you guys. Yeah, Jose. Of course. Of course. 1K. If you leverage 1K 10 times, you've got 10,000 units of currency, and you can make, you know, $50 to $100 per day, because we were making the 50 to 100 pips in a day. Right, on 10,000 units, yeah. If anyone's a newbie, you should probably not be trading regular lot sizes at $10 a pip. If you're a newbie, I probably wouldn't do that. You got plenty of time to make money, especially in the future when you know things that you don't know right now. I mean, you could. You could. I mean, I don't know your situation, you know, but I don't think you need to wait until you have 2K or a certain number to trade. You know, even if you had 1K and you leveraged it 20 times, that's going to be good moves, man. That's a good goal. That's going to be good. That's good. That's a hard goal, but it's good. Building capital. Good. Risk capital. Risk capital. Remember, guys, Forex markets, just like any market, have risk. For a lot of people, the best return on the investment is going to be in themselves and increasing cash flow. All right? So if you don't yet have your cash flow down pat, you might need to focus on that for a while. Cash flow is an investment, all right? If you have the ability to increase your cash flow, you know, 1 or 2 times, that is a great investment, all right? As investors or speculators, we're not against cash flow. We like making plays, but cash flow is what's going to be allowing you to go from month to month and build your pot of risk capital. Okay, how you get that cash flow can be any number of means. All right, obviously the more skilled you are, the faster you're going to accumulate cash flow. But when it comes to getting into the markets with Forex, you don't need a lot of money for the startup. $1,000 is not a lot of money. I mean, it's just not. For a lot of people it is, but it's just not in this realm that we're talking about. It's a drop in the bucket, you know. And for you guys that are thinking that like $1,000 is a lot of money, we got to work on your mind. We got to work on your mindset. All right? That makes sense? Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. The best traders in the world are making well over that per year. That's only $3,333 a day. You know that, right? Yeah. Actually, if you count trading days, it's about 4K a day. So if you could consistently make 4K a day in the market, you'd be a millionaire within a year. Now to make 4K, well, you can do the math on that, right? It's basically 10 lots, and you got to take 40 pips a day out of the market, right? On 10 lots. You guys see that math? Yeah, don't do that on your real accounts, guys. Don't leave. If you do that and you make money, it's okay to be happy about it in a demo account, but don't leave your real account open and then go to sleep. That will mess up your financial future very quickly. Yes, Calvin. Yeah, Jose, don't forget about your account. Don't forget about your positions. You need to know where the positions are and where the price is of what you're trading at all times. Okay? And it just has to be natural. But you can't sleep on this, alright? If you sleep on it, there will be a day where this bad news announcement goes against you and it's gonna blow up your entire account. So don't do that. Alright? Understood? No, I have a proprietary algorithm that essentially destroys what that can do. Alright guys, I'm gonna get offline really quick. Yeah, I don't even know why people use that, to be honest. I'm gonna head offline. When I come back online, possibly this afternoon, we're gonna discuss a few things. Price movement, Prime is short right now. We had a decent short play here, like a little 15 pip play. But like I said, it was too close to the news. I didn't want to play it. I think as time goes on, I'll be more comfortable playing stuff close to the news. It's just that the news is so dynamic right now. It's so dynamic. I didn't want to expose you guys to that, especially like in the first week that we're really getting going. If that makes sense, I want to make sure that everything is okay. I want to make sure the systems are okay. Blah blah blah. Calvin, you can hop on the scopes. I just made, for you guys that are still on the scope, thank you, Tom. I hope I scare the hell out of you. For you guys that are still on the scope, I have made the beta release of my trader algorithm available, which basically means that whatever trades my algorithm takes, you have the ability to hop on those trades. All right? You have the ability to hop on those trades and take the positions that Prime is taking. So if you're new to trading, I highly recommend that, because essentially, if you're new to trading, you're going to have to learn a lot. Okay, you're going to have to learn a lot. And in that time that it takes to learn, you could be still playing the market and making profits, because you're going to be hopping off the piggybacking of the trades that the algorithm takes. So essentially, you would get those trades on your cell phone in the form of text alerts. All right? So if that sounds like something you're interested in, email me, info@fitbusinessman.com. info@fitbusinessman.com. And you will get access based upon the invite, based upon what you say in the email. Okay? So if you sound like you know what you're talking about, if you sound like you honestly want to change your life for the better, chances are you get in. I don't speak French. I don't speak French. Info. Yes, sir, Calvin. That's it. Yep. And I'm on every social. No problem. No problem. I'm on every social network as Fit Businessman. So if you need to find me, you can reach out to me. I'm always available. And this week, I'm releasing this for the first time this week. We're doing essentially a soft launch. We're not doing anything that's like crazy with advertising or anything like that. The reason being is that I want to make sure that the people who come into the room are getting very good attention. No problem, Calvin. And the members that do subscribe to the alerts are also going to get educational videos, which are currently being worked on. All right, I'm currently going to render one more today, and then I'll upload 2 before the end of the day. Adrian, how are you? We are not, because I was waiting for that little Fed snafu when they had the announcement to get through. One of the Fed chairmen, not the chairman, but one of the heads of the Fed, specifically the Atlanta Fed, was giving a little speech, and the markets were awry because of that. Oh, no problem, Calvin. Yeah, you can tell me, you can give me your story. I always try to help people out. So, guys, I appreciate the time this morning. For now, I'm going to get offline. I'm going to make some coffee, refresh the mind, okay? And then I'll be back on a little bit later. All right, I'll see you guys.